All right, thanks for joining this video. Today, as you can see on the screen, we're going through the seller's roadmap. This one was found on expenterprise.com for EXP Realty agents. However, I believe it was through Breakthrough Broker, which has a lot of great marketing content that you can custom brand to yourself. All right, so this portion of the listing consultation that I would go through with a seller would be after our introduction and after our expectation questions, finding out how to best work together. I would ask them if I don't know uh, if they've sold a home before, which I should have already known. Are you familiar with the home selling process? Is this the first home that you'll be selling? Yes or no, right? The other way I would ask if I already know is you bought this home after selling your last home about 15 years ago, which was quite a long time ago, and a lot of things have changed. Would you say you're pretty savvy in the entire home selling process from start to finish, or would you like me to go through it in depth with you? Either way, I don't care what their experience level is. They're not a realtor and they've never worked with me before, likely, unless it's a repeat customer. So in that case, I'm going to go through the entire sales process with them, no matter what, because communication is key. And as a seller, you want to know how to work best with your realtor and you want to know what to expect. Every realtor is different and will do things differently. Just like every seller is different with different expectations, different wants, and different needs in a different house, right? Maybe a different city, different neighborhood, different market. So there's a lot of things that are variables. So this is our guideline for going through the entire sales process with them so that they can become an expert with you. So I say, perfect, I appreciate you letting me know. So my goal is to help make you an expert on the sales process so that you don't feel like I'm dragging you through this, through the mud the entire time, right? We don't want you to be blind in the sales process wondering, what is Cody going to do for us next? Is he actually working for us? Is he working for the buyer and not for us? Right? This will help alleviate any of those concerns or objections along the way so that you can maintain a high level of customer service. All right. So I say, all right, so the first step is what we're doing here today. You're meeting with a real estate professional, and that's just meeting with someone to talk about the next steps and everything that you need to do in the real estate process, making sure that you're comfortable and confident with the person that you'll be hiring to work for you over this next month or couple of months. Sound good? All right. And then during today's meeting, what we're going to do is we're going to establish a price, and we're going to use market data, numbers from previous sales in your neighborhood that are comparable to your house to help determine what the fair market value is and the asking price. So we're also going to determine where we should be listing the house for sale compared to what we think the home is worth, right? You have an opportunity, just so you know, to say no to those offers that come in if they're not suitable to what we've talked about today. So once we're done with some of our initial questions, we're going to go through and talk about the pricing, and we're going to take a look at that data, and just so you know exactly where you should be pricing your house. All right, perfect. So after that, once we get this agreement signed and you hire me to be your realtor, and I work for you exclusively, we're going to start getting your home prepared to sell. And that can look like a number of things. So we're going to take a look from a buyer's perspective. Since we don't determine the price or sale of your house, you don't, your neighbors don't, the market does. Who are the current buyers? We're going to take a look through the lens of a buyer and ask ourselves, what should we change or make different to be the most appealing to today's buyers? So for example, the cream of the crop is looking at new construction. When we look at new construction, we know that they have undergone millions of dollars of market research to know what today's buyers are looking for. The colors, the decor, the furniture, the carpet, the hardwood, the windows, the kitchen trim, everything, right? So while we may not be doing large renovations on your house, what we can do is take a look at and see what things can we take down, what things can we reposition, where can we clean up a little bit better so that we can use the presentation of your house to get it sold. And we know that 4 P's get your house sold: the price, the presentation, the placement, and the fourth P is not a P at all. It's accessibility. So just know that the presentation, one of those P's while we prepare your home, is a large factor. And I'm going to give you some documents here that help you with a checklist to see what you can do around your house. Know that some of those items are not going to apply to you. For example, it's made to suit all different types of properties, from condos to large ranches and single-family homes in between. All right, so we'll take a look at that. We'll talk through some of the items and see what can you do to help your home sell faster for the most amount of money. All right, once we have all that ready, we are going to determine the best day to list your house. And we know that statistically, Wednesday and Thursday are the best days of the week to sell your house. They will get you more money. So once everything's done, we're going to put it on the open market, and it's critical to make it as easy as possible for potential buyers to view your home. So that fourth P is accessibility. So the more buyers over the longest period of time that we can get into your house will translate into more money for you. All right, so that's the presentation, and there's the price and the accessibility. All right, then once we have your house on the market, know that we are able to market it up to 8 days in advance, coming soon, which we can talk about at the end here. All right, as it's on the market, we are going to be looking for offers. We want buyers to submit their highest and best offers to us, and those offers will come in. They'll have an acceptance deadline that tells us when we need to respond by, and it will have all terms of the contract, of the price, the closing date, who pays what, etc. So we're going to go through. If it's one offer, we will go through and determine whether we accept it and accept all terms, reject it by rejecting all terms, or we can counter offer and accept all terms except for the noted terms on the counter offer, which would just replace the terms we note in the main offer. If there's multiple offers, typically you would just accept the best offer. However, you do have an opportunity that you can find the best offer and send a counter back. Or maybe based on some of the criteria of the second or third best offer, we know that they're going to be the strongest candidate and best realtor to work with, but we might want to counter offer that offer and see if they're willing to beat out a specific term from somebody else. Does that make sense? All right. And so I just make sure I'm asking them throughout it if everything's good, periodically give them a chance to speak and ask any questions on their mind. So once we go through all those offers and weigh the pros and cons of each, we're going to pick which one to move forwards with and give the other people an opportunity to submit a backup offer if we have an additional offer. After going under contract, it will be taken off the market and go from the active status to the active backup or pending status. Those do not get sent out as new listings to buyers, but if people will decide to call, that they can submit a backup offer. Just know that that is unlikely once we do go into that status. So we can't take a second offer fully and move forward with it at the same time. Sound good? All right. So once we've agreed to those terms and we've moved on, we're going to start the period that begins with an earnest money deposit. So the buyer, within the days stated on the contract, typically 2 or 3 days later, will submit a earnest money, which is about 1% of the purchase price. It's their good faith deposit. That will go directly to the title company of our choice, which I use Heritage Title, and that will be put into a trust account. It will be deposited and it will be held there. No one will be touching it during the transaction. It either gets applied to the buyer's down payment, or if they make an egregious error outside of the contract, there are very few circumstances that you might be able to keep it. Within 7 to 10 days, they're going to have an inspection done that they'll pay for. All buyers in Colorado are allowed to have an inspection, 1 or more, done on the property, and we will allow that to happen. And then within about 24 hours, the inspector will send them the report, and they will come back to us and either decide not to ask for any changes, to ask for some changes, or to terminate based on what they find. Now, if they choose to send an inspection objection asking for certain items to be fixed, we will send back an inspection resolution after discussing it, letting them know how few or how many items we will choose to fix. And that's all part of the negotiation. That's what you'll be hiring me to take care of for you. About week 3, they're going to have the appraisal done, which is a third-party inspection done by someone at the lender's office or the bank, whoever they're using for financing. Again, it's a third party that we have no control over, but they will do that and let the bank know what they should be or not be paying for the property here, okay? And then finally, once all that's done, they're going to submit all the buyer's financial paperwork right out to the underwriters who go through all their income, their bank statements, everything of the sort. And we will get that finalized. Once it's done, the buyer's lender, if it's got a loan attached, will give us the clear to close. Finally, after the clear to close is given, which means everything is all said and done with the loan, then we will move to the closing, and that's the easy part. For you as a seller, it takes about 10 or 15 minutes to sign your name off all that paperwork. We will have already taken care of the payoff of your current loan on your house. The title company will reach out for that. So you're really just signing away your ownership. We're signing the water to the new owner. We're signing an HOA if there is one to the new owner. And again, it takes about 15 minutes. And for the buyer, if they have a loan, it'll take another about 45 minutes. If they have no loan, maybe 10 or 15 minutes total. So very simple in the closing. There'll be snacks and drinks for you. It's quite a good time, very low stress. Everything will be done in advance, and we will have a chance to look through all the numbers just a few days before. Do you have any questions about the entire sales process we just went through? Perfect. So that's the whole sales process. That's what I go through with my sellers, just to make sure that they are fully educated in the process, have the right expectations set. And if I miss anything, of course, they will ask me or it'll come up later. But I find that that is plenty of information to give them in one sitting. If you have any questions, please give me a call, send me a message, or leave me a comment below.